1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Mike Heading here, coming to you today with the classic song 9-Pound Hammer. I had an intermediate version of this that I did a while back, maybe a year or two ago, but I had some requests to do a beginner version, so I simplified it even further. We're going to break things way down. We're going to go real slow on this one, and we're going to break down a whole bunch of fundamental techniques, slides, pull-offs, hammer-ons, stuff you absolutely need to know how to do if you want to play bluegrass style banjo. I've got two solos worked up for 9-Pound Hammer. They're both beginner arrangements. I'm going to break them both down note for note and then show you a bunch of backup I would do for this song. So really simple down the neck rolling backup and then some really basic up the neck vamping backup. We're going to stay, again, in the beginner realm for this lesson. If you want a more advanced version, go check out my intermediate version. And if you're watching the preview of this lesson, you can head over to my website, MikeHeadingMusic.com, and grab the full-length lesson. You'll get access to watch all the videos. You can download the tabs and the practice tracks. All right, here's 9-Pound Hammer in the key of A. All right, let's start breaking down this beginner version of 9-Pound Hammer. Remember, I'm doing it in the key of A, so I've got my capo on the 2nd fret. I've got my 5th string spiked up at up a whole step from G, and that's where I commonly do the song. Fiddles and mandolins like the song in the key of A. But if you don't feel like putting on your capo or you don't have a capo, you could easily learn the song in the key of G, but you won't be able to play along with me or with the practice tracks. But you could easily learn this solo in G as well. All right, so here let's start breaking it down. Let me play the first 5 measures. Do that a few times. 1. One more time, real slow. Okay, so we're going to start with a really simple pickup on beat 2 of measure 1. Beat 1 is going to be a rest. We're going to hit the open 4th string twice, and then we're going to put our 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. Using my thumb of my right hand 3 times in a row, so they're all quarter notes. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to go up to the open 3rd string for measure 2. That kind of completes the walk that we want to hear. So we have 1. Let's do that a few times. 1. I'm just working my thumb there. I'm actually using my thumb to help me not play that too quickly. So I'm using my thumb multiple times in a row to actually kind of help slow myself down and make sure I'm not rushing through those quarter notes. So count it out loud if you need to. 1, 2, 3. One more time, a little faster. 1. And then we're going to go up and do 2 forward rolls. So thumb, index, middle with our right hand. And we're going to use strings 5, 3, 1. So thumb, index, middle. And then we're going to do that same roll again. Measure 2 is a really good one to loop. It works great for lead playing. It also works great for backup. I'm using my thumb twice at the beginning again to help slow myself down to make sure I play that first quarter note. So we have 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and then your thumb would come back down. You can loop it. I recommend if you're an absolute beginner is make sure your index finger is going up. So your thumb plays that 3rd string first, then your index finger takes over, and then your thumb comes back down. So you might be saying to yourself, why wouldn't I just start that with my index finger? You could, not that you wouldn't ever want to do that, but the reason why I wouldn't is because it's easier to rush through that if I do index thumb. So it's actually trickier to help play that pause Whereas if I use my thumb twice in a row, it's kind of like a governor for your car. It naturally just slows you down a little bit. There's another kind of unwritten rule in Scruggs style banjo that if you can use your thumb, you should. So your thumb's the most powerful of your fingers usually. You know, you're pushing down with your thumb. It's also most beginners and most people are most coordinated with their thumb. So that's, again, a kind of an unwritten rule in Scruggs banjos. If you can use your thumb, you should. So that's another reason why I'm bringing my thumb down. That'd be a great one to practice just your string accuracy or work on your speed. That's a great backup or lead lick, like I said. So let's put measures 1 and 2 together. So count beat 1, 1. Let's do that a few times. 1. One more time, real slow. 1. And the melody there is in measure 1, all the pickup notes are melody. So that'd be this 9 pound if you're singing along the words. And then our melody in measure 2 is just the open 3rd string. So we're gonna hit it twice, but what we're doing there is filling it up now with a roll. So what I want you to practice there is you're gonna initially accent your thumb. And then when you come up, now I'm gonna start accenting my index finger. So if I accent my thumb the whole time, you're not gonna hear that melody. So we need to accent our index finger. What we're doing there is we're embedding that melody into a roll, so it's not coming on the downbeat. It's actually syncopated. That's what's really cool about banjo, and that's where that's the kind of the genius of Scruggs style banjo. It syncopates the melody because we're using 3 fingers, and 3 notes doesn't divide evenly into 8. So we're kind of playing on and off the beat, and that's part of the the genius of Scruggs style banjo. So make sure you're accenting your index finger, and get the basic roll down first. Don't try and accent too early. But if you feel like you've got the roll down, make sure you're not being overly heavy with your thumb. Otherwise, it's not going to sound quite right. So let's do it one more time. Here's measures 1 and 2. 1. Measure 3, our thumb's going to come down again, play the open 3rd string. And then we're going to use our 2nd finger on the 3rd string and slide from 2 to 4 while doing an alternating thumb roll. Thumb, index, thumb, middle. 3, 2, 5, 1 are my strings. So I'm sliding up. Right when I get up to that 4th fret, I'm playing the open 2nd string. It'll be the same note. Make sure you're not playing it twice with your thumb. It's not this. Don't let your ear be tricked because it's the same note. But if you do it that way, you're not taking advantage of your 3 fingers. Whereas if I do it this way, thumb, index, thumb, middle, now I'm using all my fingers. Another tip for beginners is don't slide too quick. It's very easy to get excited and kind of slide too quick. Let that first note ring out. You need a reference point for your slides. The other thing is, if let's say that you're having trouble with that slide, you could just take it out. Doesn't sound that much different. So you can always just take it out. And if you're ever having trouble with slides, just take it out. Just play the first note of the 2 of them, so it'd be the 2nd fret. So that's another option. Slides, pull-offs are always optional. So let's do that again. We have open 3rd string, and then that roll. That's a great one to practice if you're a beginner. You might have heard that in Cripple Creek if you've played that song. That's a very classic banjo lick. You'll hear that in a lot of songs. Okay, so we slide up, and then we're going to do a 3-2 pull-off thumb middle, third string, first string. And this time I'm going to get 3 notes, so I'm not lining up the pull off. It's not. Now it's. So I have 1, 2, 3. You'd count it 4 E and if you wanted to count it. I'm kind of pulling back toward my palm. You got to keep your first finger down as well. Those are just general techniques for beginners that you're going to run into all the time. So you can't get too much practice with that 3-2 pull off. So let's do measure 3 on its own real slow. Here we go. And the melody there is. So we have, what's our melody there is open third string at the beginning of measure 3. And then the melody is actually the second string, open, and then twice, and then second fret on the third string, and then open third string goes into measure 4. So it's basically a walk down on this of scale notes 3, 2, 1, or 3 blind mice, or hot cross buns if you played that song. So it's just walking down the notes of a scale. So not super interesting to play on the banjo, right? So we're not going. So what are we doing to imply that? Instead of just hitting that open second string, now we're sliding into it. So more kind of more implying like a vocalist might do it, where they're sliding into a note rather than just singing an open note. Now we're sliding into it, give it a little more flavor. Same thing, instead of just doing that walk down, which is very square, 3, 2, 1 are my notes of my scale. Now we're doing a pull off and kind of implying those notes. If you played them chromatically, it'd be. So now we're just doing that with a pull off. So that's what we're doing there. We're basically just implying that melody in a more interesting way. So we have. Okay, so let's do the first 3. Here we go. 1. Now measure 4, open third string. That's going to get you go into your full C chord here, even though you don't see it. So I got my second finger on the second fret of the lowest string, first finger on the first fret of the second string, and third finger up on the second fret of the first string. If you don't go into your full C, it'll kind of sound like an E minor, which you don't want. If your first finger's not down, that's an E minor. So put your first finger down, even though you don't see it in the tab. So we're going to hit the open third string, and then do 2 forward rolls, this time 4, 3, 1. And then do that again. So it's the same roll we did in measure 2, now just different strings. Adjust your hand a little, that's fine. So I'm actually using the first open third string in measure 4 to give me time to put my hand down. And the melody there is down to the second fret on the 4th string. That's why I'm kind of highlighting that note with the roll. So we have, let's do 3 and 4 together. Loop those 2. A little faster. Not too hard there. Keep your C down. Now measure 5. Open third string again with your thumb. Now you're going to move your second finger up to the second fret of the third string and do an alternating thumb roll. Thumb, index. So 3, 2 are my strings. And then take your second finger off, move it back down, and do open third string, second fret on the first string. So you have. Let's do that a few times. And then down to the second fret on the 4th string. Measure 5 is a good one. Your thumb is moving around a lot there. Melody there is all with your thumb. So we have, let's do 4 and 5. classic C licks on banjo and scrug style. Remember, put your whole C down, really important. It's easy to get out of position or think you can do that initial C in measure 4, maybe in a different shape. That's why follow the left-hand fingerings really closely. They're below the tab, so they're the numbers in the circle. So your 1 is your first finger, 2 is your second finger, 3 is your third finger, 4 is your pinky. So follow those closely, because a lot of times, again, you could go in measure 4, maybe this way, and then you realize in measure 5, oh, okay, now I'm in the wrong position. So really important, set yourself up. Now I'm right here, I can just do this lick in measure 5. Now measure 6, open 4th string. This is a classic Scruggs fill lick, TIM 5-3-1. Back to the index finger on the open 3rd string. 2nd fret on the 4th string, open 1st string. That's a good one to practice. That's a really good one for beginners. Another really good thing you could practice is starting that first note on a different string with your thumb. So in this example, we're doing it on the 4th string. Now a good exercise would be now start it on the 3rd string. Everything else is the same. You could even do the 2nd string. See, I'm moving that first note around. I'm just practicing moving my thumb around. That'd be really good practice for a beginner. You'll see that variation just with that first note being different. That's why I'm telling you to practice that. So let's do that in measure 6 one more time. Now measure 7 is an open 4th string. Pinch the outside strings 5 and 1, and then do an alternating thumb roll 4, 3, 4, 1. So open and open, and then 2nd fret on the 4th string, and then open 1st string. So you have. Let's do 6 and 7 together. And then measure 8.